in terms of like longevity, this job comes last. Yeah, it comes last. You're given probably anywhere between 2 and 10 years, I would say, at the maximum, to make your.
You've had 6.
We've had 6, yeah. But out of the 6, I would say 3 have been financially excellent. The other 3 were
getting out of debt.
Getting out of debt. Yeah, exactly. The debt that it cost to start this band. We started this band with one main idea and ideal, and that was that everything we did would be, by our lights, excellent. I think you know, the justification for what you do always comes from the amount of success what you do has, providing we keep ourselves together and we believe in what we do. We've never been great lyricists, and we don't write sort of fantastic melodies and tunes, you know, except for Child in Time, which is quite a pretty tune. I mean, there's not that many pretty tunes.
Is that something you regret?
No, not particularly. Yeah, I regret it to the extent that if we could find a really great melody that would fit in with the way we play and the way we want to play, then fair enough.
You'd obviously use it.
You'd use it, you know, like a shop. But we're more of a. We don't construct our songs like, say, Rodgers and Hart used to, you know, or Lennon and McCartney, even. They're sort of amalgams of what everyone is able to.
From a certain basic idea.
Ian might come up with a sort of a drum rhythm. Well, he came up with a drum pattern. You Fall No One, that's opening track on side 2 of Burn. Came purely and simply, initially, from a drum rhythm that Ian thought up.
Whereby Might Just Take Your Life came from an organ chord sequence that John had. So you start with the basic, simple little idea, then you get 5 minds saying, well, I think this would fit with that. That's what we do.
You know, but
that's maybe why they're not too melodic, they're not too lyrical.
We're a rock band. I mean, I don't like the term hard rock. I don't like the term heavy metal. You know, I'd like to think of ourselves as a rock and roll band. Burn, Machine Head, In Rock seem to centre around a specific kind of theme. Not even a theme you can put into words. But they hang together. You know it's part of that album, and it feels part of that album. And you can play the album from A to Z. Without thinking, oh, that sticks out like a sore thumb.
You see a progression in your album career?
It's sort of gone like that, you know, to us. We've gone up and then taken 1 step back, then 3 steps, then 1 back, you know, in terms of the albums.
Can you talk about your fairy tale discovery?
Yeah. With the accent on fairy.
I've always wanted to get on, you know. And I auditioned Deep Purple last year in August.
Yeah.
No, it was.
Presumably you're nearer normality than them. I mean, they've been living in this fantasy world for so many years. Presumably the contrast between...
I've always had the fantasy there, you know.
Sorry.
I've always wanted, I've known what it was about, you know. I just wanted to, instead of standing outside the door, I wanted to get in, you know.
And you're happy now you're there?
I'm very happy, yeah, right.
What's it like being a superstar? Carrying around this sort of envelope of fame and...
Well, it's very, very strange, actually. The only real, as far as I'm concerned, the only real superstars, to use the term properly, are the people that would gain instant recognition in any town, in any country where their music or their films, whatever, have been seen or heard. Rock musicians don't actually come in for that kind of recognition outside the sphere of being in a concert hall and its environs.
People can now say to me, what's it like to be a superstar? And I say, pardon? Because I'm still playing the same as I did before, but it's like changing a job. It's like anyone changing a job. I'm playing with better people. The money side is there. I mean, financially it's fine, but it's a change of job. And to be called a superstar just because you've changed your job or firm, as Ian put it, is just stupid to me. I just can't.
No, it must have altered your lives. Oh, you don't eat fish and chips now. You presumably go to...
Do it for fancy. Do it for fancy.
You might have the wrong idea.
If you don't want to eat fish and chips, you can afford not to eat fish and chips. That's all. That's the only.
All it is choice.
We don't walk around with hand mirrors, you know, like sort of admiring ourselves all the time, you know. Like, as Ian puts it, once the job is over for that particular night, you go home or you leave, and once you're out of the surrounding area, honestly, hardly anybody would recognise you unless they happen to be a fan of yours and have pictures of you at home or something. Or your album. I mean, like.
Is that failure?
No, it's because.
I'd rather be recognised musically than as a face.
It's an insulated world, rock and roll, you know. I mean, it doesn't actually get to Mrs. Hodgkins at number 43, you know. It gets to her daughter, maybe, or her son. Actually, I'd like to get to Mrs. Hodgkins' daughter. She's all right.
Paul McCartney's discovery.
Yeah, that's right. Very Hodgkin. Do you see what I'm trying to say? It's very insulated. And if it does happen in the street, if some Joe Boggs comes up to me in the street and asks for my autograph, of course I'm knocked out. I love it. It's great feeling.
But you give up such a lot, you know. You give up such a lot when you're doing this.
What?
Time. That's what you give up. You know, for an hour and a half you get up on stage, you're probably spending 2 or 3 days, you know, away from your home life. Your social life gets screwed right up because you're pissing off to different countries every month or so. And that's a huge thing to give up. That freedom to say, I think I'll go to the pictures tonight, because you can't, because you know tomorrow you'll be playing 1,000 miles away, you've got to get a plane.
Now you may say, quite rightly, that you'd give up that freedom for the amount of money involved.
I might do, yeah.
And that's exactly what I'd say. Yeah. Which is why I'm doing it. Could you pass me that bottle of marvellous stuff?
Is it hard work doing all that drumming behind such a loud band? Not tonight.
Physically it's quite demanding. The hardest thing is keeping the sweat out of my eyes, believe it or not. That's the hardest thing. It's fun, but it's not that difficult, other than if you're not feeling like 100%, it can get a bit tiring after half an hour.
Well, if you're not feeling 100%, what makes it hard is trying to make yourself feel 100%. Because
you know you should be playing better.
Because really, I don't want to sound twee or anything, or trite. Oh, it will, but it's not intended to. You do seriously feel an immense necessity to be good. And it stems from the fact that you are being paid by a lot of people to excel and to excite them. And if you know you're not doing it, I get so brought down. You know, it's amazing how just doomy you can get. You can walk off stage and literally be in tears.
Getting back to the studio thing, why we're probably a little bit on the subdued side on record is because when you're recording you find that there's one engineer and a couple of T-boys around, and it doesn't really inspire you to turn out your best. Whereas when you're on stage, you're playing to the people and they inspire you, obviously, you know. I suppose it's an ego thing, really. You like to kind of basically show them what you know, and you get really inspired. You get a real exciting thing going with the crowd because they just turn you on.
We don't have many bad nights. In fact, since we've started, we've got on 3 fingers we've had maybe 3 bad nights. I mean, we do have a bad night. We don't fight. We just walk off, and we don't speak to each other. And the next day we go on stage. It's like that. We don't ever argue intensely. When we criticise each other, it's always polite criticism.
Yeah, you're shit, man.
It's necessary to respect each other. It's immensely necessary. Bands have broken up through lack of respect.
We spent time together socially.
This band more than this combination of Deep Purple more than any other combination. Yes.
I don't know how I think, but can't help.
I've spent more time with Glenn since he's been in the band than I spent with Roger in 2 years. The band has existed. I mean, Richie, Ian, and myself have been together since the end of 1967.
Your Thus Spake Zarathustra seems to bring a cheer, as that proves that you're a better musician when you're playing Richard Strauss than you are when you're playing Jon Lord.
That comes from men, because I don't think that.
That's just a change of style.
I mean, maybe you should ask a member of the audience that. I mean, I don't know. It's recognition, if you like. I mean, it's recognising a familiar thing. I put it in there because I think it works there. I love playing it as well. It's gas to play.
Works with the idea of that particular song.
I mean, the songs.
There's a space song.
There's a link. I mean, it's a tenuous.
No one thinks of it as Strauss. They think immediately 2001.
I suspected that one could prove that one was a good musician to the audience by playing classical music.
No, in actual fact, I think I could prove it better by improvising on the chord of G with him in the background. I think I can prove I'm a musician. That's what I was up there for, but I'm not up there for that. I'm not there to prove I'm a good musician. I'm up there because, well, all sorts of things, but not that. One is because it's my job. Two is because I love it. And three is because I can't do anything else.
You've done some things individually, haven't you?
They are totally individual projects.
They're a completely separate activity.
Yeah. It's like a hobby. Some, you've got to have something extracurricular that turns you on. Well, I have to.
And this is a job, that's a hobby.
It's not quite as bold as that, but it's close. It's close. Yeah, it is a job.
Well, it sounds like you're not totally happy with the things that you do.
Oh no, there's no. Just because you call it a job doesn't mean to say you don't have to be happy with it. There are men that love being centre lathe turners. In purely semantically, like out of the Oxford English Dictionary, you'd say that a painter, it was his job. Right? A job is merely a word to describe what you do for your living, isn't it?
Yes, but it has the overtone.
It has the connotations of yeah.
What I'm doing it for is to have enough money to do the things that I really like doing.
Every job has its Monday morning, and ours just happens to come on Saturday night, that's all.
Thank you. Thank you for coming to see us.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you very much indeed. We'll see you very soon. Take care.
Do you think you've made a contribution to musical history?
Not musical history, no, I've made a contribution to social history probably. One which will be forgotten not long after the band breaks up. But that's modern times, isn't it? I mean, certain people will remember us, you know, like I said, they say, oh yeah, I remember when I was 15 I used to be a Deep Purple fan, or when I was 21 I used to be a Deep Purple fan, or whatever. It's a history of 10 years which will last 10 years, and that's it.